episode of Real Women. I'm Amber Carnish, and joined with me today is my friend, co-worker at Fayetteville Public Television, and internationally recognized filmmaker, Paula Blanco. Thanks for being here with me, Paula.
Thank you for having me.
So can you just tell me a little bit about where you're from and what it is you do now?
Yes, so I am from Spain, Madrid, Spain, and I lived there until I was 18 years old, and I really wanted to go to film school, and my options in Spain just weren't exactly what I wanted, because I wanted to go to college, but I wanted to do film. So I came to Arkansas, went to UCA, got my film degree at UCA, and then I came to Fayetteville. Now I work at FPTV with you. And I love it. I love Fayetteville. I love working at FPTV, and I'm always working on side projects, short films especially, because I love short films.
Right.
And yeah.
So your job at FPTV is actually the Director of Education. So can you tell me a little bit more about the roles and responsibilities that you have there?
So as Director of Education, I'm in charge of just building the educational offer and all the materials, which a lot of them, we already had them, but I keep building new classes and changing the materials and updating everything. Then I teach classes with you, because you teach classes too. So teaching classes has actually been a lot of fun. I was a little scared at the beginning, but it's been a good experience, and I like having my students and stuff. So, and I also work on internal productions. I take care of equipment and equipment checkouts, check-ins, all that stuff. And I also help with promotion. We're always trying to reach out to people to let them know about the community service that we offer and how awesome it is that we can teach free classes and just, I don't know, help people create videos and products. So, yeah.
So backtracking a little bit, what was your experience like coming over from Spain to pursue film?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
So I decided to leave Spain. I had this feeling that I just needed to do it, and it was a very crazy idea to go from Madrid, Spain to Conway, Arkansas. Everyone was like, "Why are you going to Conway, Arkansas?" I was like, "Well, UCA actually has a very cool film program, and they have all kinds of equipments and materials that I had never put my hands on, because I never had access to that kind of stuff. And I still needed to learn all the basics. So I decided to just send it to Conway, Arkansas. And my first year, I remember I wasn't even taking that many film classes. So I was just trying to meet people, because I didn't know anyone.
Right.
My family's all back in Spain. So I was just trying to meet people. I joined a sorority, and I was just doing the crazy college experience. And then I started to get, in my second year, third year, started getting more film classes, and that's when I got the chance to develop my skills and started working on some projects. And it was a process, but I was honestly very surprised by how well I adapted. And I think a big part of that was the people. It was a very, very, I don't know, awesome experience.
Right. It sounds like you had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say is the reason you chose UCA over going to school in Spain?
So, as I was saying before, Spain, they didn't have a good film degree. They will have academies and 2-year programs and stuff, and they were okay, and they had communication majors and stuff where they will teach a little bit about TV and production, but I just wanted to go full in it.
Get the full experience.
Yeah, I wanted to just do film and just specialized in film. I knew I liked film more than I liked TV.
Yeah.
Which I like TV too, but I'm more into film. And I don't know, I just, also, just me watching American movies my whole life, when I was younger, and just seeing how the whole industry is here. In my head, it was always if you want to make it big, you gotta go where it's big, So I don't know, I decided to find a place where I could just get all that experience that I was wanting to get, and where I could have the equipment and the opportunities to make content.
Do you think that you not being from America, you being from Spain, do you think that's impacted the way that you make films?
Yes, that's a good question. I used to watch a lot of American films when I was younger. The film industry in Spain is getting stronger, but back in the day, there were very little movies, like very few, that made it to America, that made it to other countries, you know? It was just, Spain never really had that much money put into the film industry, so it's always been very hard to make good movies. Like, we just had to like get creative and stuff and work with small budgets. So a lot of my film style was influenced by American films even before I got here. But obviously I'm Spanish and I do carry my culture with me. So I think my films is kind of like a mix in between. Nowadays, I've been missing Spain a lot, and I've been missing my culture, and I've been going through this like identity,
Right.
discovery
Yeah.
deal. So I do want my next projects, my next films to have more of my Spanish culture in them, because I feel like the ones I've made in the past had a lot of like my American side, and I feel like my Spanish side is like wanting to come in. So I think y'all are gonna see a lot more of my Spain influence in my films in the next years.
Well, finally speaking about the films that you've done, can you just tell me about some of the films that you've worked on?
Yes, Be Here Now, it's a sci-fi, because I love sci-fi, and it's just basically in this technology society where everyone is just on their phones and not really enjoying what's around them. So they're kind of like disconnected from like real life and just connected to their phones. And it's about this guy that meets a girl that is against all of that stuff, and she accidentally breaks his phone, so he has to learn to like look up from that screen and learn what's around him, and that process of him enjoying things that like he should have enjoyed by then, but he never did, you know. So that film's kind of like a critic to what we do nowadays, because I mean, if you look up and you're surrounded by people, you 100% are gonna see that at least 50% of those people are on their phones. And it's a little sad. Technology can be great, but it can also be dangerous. So I was just kind of like exploring that concept with that film. Another film that I'm very proud of is Dust. It's like a 7-minute short film. That's like in an apocalyptic world after like a third world war, and the government comes up with like this pill that makes people just forget about absolutely everything. So people have the chance of taking this pill and forgetting everything, but that means they're gonna forget absolutely everything in their past. So they'll forget the bad things, but they'll also forget the good things. So it's kind of like exploring that concept of what will you do, you know? Do you rather to just deal with the pain and just be able to remember who made you yourself? It's a cool concept. It's just like a couple talking about it. One of them is trying to take the pill and the other one's asking him why. So yeah, it's a cool little concept.
How would you say that you've seen your growth since starting out as a freshman, not really knowing much about film? How have you seen your growth over the past 5 years?
It's been a lot of improvement. Whenever I started, you know, I mean, in Spain, all I did was had my camera, and I always loved photography and videography, but I didn't know absolutely anything about camera settings, or I knew the basics, or lighting. I just knew like you gotta have some light, you know, and that kind of stuff. So seeing my first projects as a freshman, like I get so embarrassed. I'm like, no, that wasn't me. Yeah, but it's actually kind of fun to compare like, this is what I used to make, to like, oh, okay, well, it's looking a lot better now.
Maybe this is the right choice I made.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's cool to see the improvement, and just think that improvement's gonna keep going up. And I don't know, it motivates me to think that I can make something that I'm gonna be just super, super proud of in the future. So I just keep chasing like better techniques and better tricks and different things to do that will make my products better. So a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
You do not want to see what I did in my freshman year. No.
Trust me, same. I don't want to show anyone any of those.
Yeah.
They're pretty bad. So what can we expect from you in the next couple years? I know you recently just got into UCA's grad program for film. So what are some of your expectations for that?
So, decided to pursue the master program at UCA. So I'll be going back to Conway in August. What I think, the program is like 2 years of classes, like pretty advanced level classes, and then the third year is just like for your thesis, so you're not taking any classes, you're just working in pre-production, production, post-production throughout that year for a project of your own. So I'm very excited, like I'm already thinking about that thesis project. I think I want to do something with immigration. I've been going through all the immigration stuff since I'm from Spain. So I think I feel the need to put all those feelings and all those experiences that I've been going through on a screen and to share those, not only just with the general audience, but just with my family, my friends. I think film is my way of communication. That's the best way I can show my feelings to people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about making a thesis project, and before then I know I'm gonna be working on a lot of like small little projects. So I'm excited to just make short films and make videos.
Yeah, and I think you having that idea for telling your story of immigrating over here, that's something that doesn't really get shown a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's gonna be really interesting. What is being a woman in film mean to you?
Being a woman in film, it's a lot better nowadays than what it used to be, and I've been very lucky. Everyone I've worked with, I've worked with a lot of women, and even with the men I've worked with, everyone just sees women like as other people do. But I know in like bigger productions and stuff, like women are more, set to the side and just for smaller roles and stuff. I think that's what I think we need to keep working on, is just teaching all these young women, hey, choose what you want to be. Like, don't think about you being a woman or you being a man or whatever you are. Like, just choose what you want to be and go from there. And I think it is getting a lot better. And even just in my experience in school, back in the day, freshman year, I remember all the people that were actually doing like DP work and stuff were usually men.
Yeah.
And women will be more in like the maybe producer part or something that wouldn't establish like holding something. Even just like a boom operator, it's usually man.
Yeah.
Just because they think about arms holding strong man,
Yeah.
It's like, no, like that's just not how it is. And but it's very beautiful to see nowadays, because I'm still in connection with UCA and stuff, and even just around here about Northwest Arkansas, you see so many women DP lately, and that just makes me so happy, because I'm like, we needed to see this.
I definitely think it brings this interesting perspective when a woman is the DP or a director.
For sure.
So it definitely adds something to the film. And I know when I started out, I literally didn't have any woman like inspiration to like look up to and be like, oh, I want to be like blank when I go into the industry. But now there's a lot more. There's a ton of women that are starting to direct and be DP, so it's really awesome to see that growth.
It is like it's very awesome. I think like a lot of famous directors or a lot of like actresses that just now decided like, I'm gonna try it out, and they're trying out to like be directors or DPs or whatever it is, and it's been so good for all the women looking at like what the film industry is doing, you know, and seeing this women fighting for like positions, and then doing so good at it, and showing everyone like,
women can do this.
like we could do this just as well, you know. So, and that doesn't mean like let's just get women on it. No, that just means, for me, it just means men need to appreciate that women are just as human as they are, and that we all can do the same things. We all can learn the same things. And we can all just hold things, you know, and heavy cameras. Like we can do that. And nowadays there's so many like dollies, easy rigs, gimbals, things, you know, like that help out with that operation.
Kind of building off of that, what advice would you give to a young girl who is on the fence of whether or not to pursue film?
Just pursue film, try everything out, try all the positions out, and see what you like to do. And once you find that thing that you like to do, even if you're not great at it, like you can get great at it, you know? Just practice and learn and just pursue that, and like you'll see your improvement, and that's gonna be your own motivation to like keep doing it and get better. So,
I think that'll do it for this episode of Real Women. Be sure to tune in to future episodes as we introduce more women across the state who are changing the film industry. Also, if you're interested in signing up for a class at FPTV, make sure you check out faypublic.tv for more information. On behalf of Paula Blanco, I'm Amber Carnish, and I'll see you next time.